Hey friends, I've got the newest collection from Zoya to share with you all today. For summer 2024, we have the Beachy Brights Part 2 collection. For Beachy Brights 2, we have 3 glitter polishes as well as 3 creams for this release. In case you couldn't tell of the whole 2 thing, last summer we had the Beachy Brights collection. Did a review on the Beachy Brights collection last year. I'll have my original review from last year's summer collection linked in the description box. Originally, the Beachy Brights collection was released in mini bottles. I'm showing you here on the screen the mini bottle versus the full-size bottle. However, for this year, both the Beachy Brights Part 1 and Beachy Brights Part 2 are both available in both full-size as well as mini-size bottles. Both the full-size and mini bottles do feature Zoya's Z-Wide brush. One final thing before we get into the actual video, the polishes in this release do feature a white cap. Zoya's usual cap is normally black. As always, I will have links in the description box where you can pick these polishes up, timestamps, links to my social media pages. Let's get into this video. First up, we have Brinkley, which Zoya describes as an ultra bright raspberry magenta cream. I did just want to show a close-up on the bottle for this polish. There is a very delicate shimmer in this one. You can't really see it very easily on the nail, like it's just barely visible, but there is some type of shimmer in this one. Brinkley had a fantastic formula. It was a little bit more thick than I was personally expecting. However, that thickness does make this one very, very opaque. Unless you have very short nails, I don't think this one is going to be a one coater on most people. For me, I definitely needed 2 coats to reach full opacity. I feel like for my full hand swatches, my camera was picking up a little bit of unevenness in the overall base, so I do think maybe if you have really long nails, you might need a 3rd coat. On my nail length to my eyes in person, this was definitely a solid 2 coater. I do believe there is some neon pigment in this polish. I'll have some blacklight shots coming up later in the video of the entire collection. I did not personally experience any staining with this polish. However, because it is just so opaque and pigmented, I would definitely recommend wearing base coat with this one to prevent any staining. I am not 100% sure how to properly pronounce this one. I think it's Bohdi, but it could be Bohdi. Zoya describes it as an ultra bright Portland orange cream. Bohdi had a pretty good formula. This one was a little bit more sheer than the last polish. I think this one is going to be a 2 to 3 coater depending on application, as well as your own personal preference. I found this does dry down a little bit more sheer than it initially applies. Full and swatches do show Bohdi in 3 coats plus glossy top coat. I had a really hard time color correcting this one. I have never in my life heard of a Portland orange before. I would best describe this color as it's too warm to be a creamsicle orange and it's too orange to be in the salmon or coral family. It's something between an orange and a coral in my opinion. If you are a fellow warm-toned person, this will definitely give you a case of the lobster hands. I found on me in person, my hands didn't look nearly as red as they are picking up in photos, which I often find the case for warm-toned colors. I do still really like this color a lot. I'm honestly thinking about putting this on my toes later today. Did not personally experience any stain with this one, but as always, I do recommend wearing base coat. This next polish is called Taji, and Zoya describes it as a vibrant lemon yellow cream, and much like the pink shade in this release, this one also has a faint shimmer that you can see in the bottle, but this one shows up even less on the nail than the pink shade. She had a really nice formula specifically for a yellow. It self-leveled very nicely. It was a little bit on the thicker side, but not so thick that I had any kind of difficulty in usage. However, admittedly, I did go in for very careful application with this polish just because yellow creams tend to be so finicky. So I am going to call this one another 2 to 3 coater depending on your application style. I think with careful application, this is definitely going to be a 2 coater. So my full and swatches just show 3 coats across the board, but I did have 2 nails that were actually perfectly fine in 2 coats. I just wanted to do 3 coats across the board in case it changed the color at all. This is a really bright yellow. It feels very like golden yellow-ish. It's definitely not a neon yellow, or at least not as bright as neon yellows usually are. Seasonal polish wearers, I would say this is like a summer to fall shade of yellow. I did not personally experience any staining with this polish. However, I feel like yellows are notorious stainers, so make sure to wear that base coat. And now on to the glitters. This first polish is called Cove, and Zoya describes it as a holographic tropical teal with green reflections. I don't know what Zoya put in here that they're saying this has green reflections. I did not and still do not see a single lick of green in this one.
I don't understand. I don't understand, bitch. I don't understand.
I am honestly kind of happy that I don't see any green in here because I really love it as is. This polish had a fantastic formula. On the Zoya website, they do describe this polish as being a 2-coater. I would actually disagree with that. I think you could get away with 2 coats with this one, maybe if you go in for thicker coats. But if you want the kind of glitter application where you don't really see your nail through the glitters very well, I would recommend this one in 3 coats, but I guess it's kind of passable in 2. I found when I built this one up in 3 coats, I could see a tiny bit of nail line, but it's the kind of nail line that you really have to look for it. Because of how sparkly and holographic the glitter is in here, it's really difficult to really make out your nail line because there's just so much sparkle action happening. Of course, because this is a glitter, it will dry down with some texture. You're going to want at least 2 coats of top coat to smooth everything out. If you have a glitter smoothing top coat, I would suggest using that with your quick dry top coat. And of course, because this is glitter, it will make removal on the more difficult side. Definitely use the soak off method or a peel off base coat if you have one. Zoya has released quite a few blue/teal holographic glitters the past few years, so I wanted to compare some of the ones that I thought would be most comparable. Most similar out of all of these, I would say, is Zoya Lennon from last year's fall collection, I believe. Zoya's Lennon is just a touch darker than this polish is, so I wouldn't call them dupes, but I do think that they are fairly similar. This is one comparison for folks watching. Please let me know if you think these polishes are too similar to justify having both. I personally don't, but I also have a problem, so let me know. And now we have Vita, which Zoya describes as a reflective pink with a shimmering holographic finish. I fully recognize that I am disagreeing a lot with the official descriptions on these polishes, but please bear with me. I did not realize when I was swatching this one that there was some type of shimmer in here. As I'm looking at my swatches, I'm like, oh, wait a second. I do see a little bit of shimmer in here, but I feel like if you are into indie nail polish or even some boutiques, calling this a reflective pink might be a little confusing. There is not reflective glitter in here. This is just chock full of holographic glitter. This was the most opaque out of the 3 glitters in this collection. This was the only one of the 3 that I actually thought this was a solid 2-coater. This polish is a super bright neon pink, aka pink. This is jam-packed with holographic glitter, but I did not find the formula to feel overly thick at all. It just felt glitter thick. Much like the other glitters in this release, this one does dry down with some texture and will make removal a bit more difficult. My full-in swatches show Vita in 2 coats with 2 coats of top coat. I had a feeling someone might be curious at how Vita compares to Milana from the Y2K collection from 2 years ago. Vita is significantly more opaque than Milana was, but Milana also has a lot stronger of a shimmer. It had a blue to purple color shift if I'm remembering correctly. Milana also has at least 2 different sizes of holographic glitter in it, whereas Vita only has 1. And the final polish in the collection is called Georgie. Zoya describes this one as a vibrant summer red with a holographic finish. Georgie had a really nice formula. This is the sheerest of the 3 glitter polishes. This is another one that I would say is definitely going to be a solid 3-coater. Zoya does describe this one as being a 2-coater, but I found that in 2 coats, the base was just a little bit uneven and slightly patchy. I found I need that 3rd coat to get full even coverage. This is another polish that I would say is glitter thick. I did not find it too thick to work with. I did not need to add any thinner. It just felt, you know, like a glitter polish. And after the fiasco of the spring collection with the glitters in that release, I am honestly really relieved that these glitters in this one are actually like normal thickness consistency. Georgie was not as opaque as Vita was. I could very easily see my nail line with this one, but I absolutely love the shade of red. On me, I did not find that it leaned super warm or cool, and I really love that in a red. Once again, the glitter will dry down fairly textured. You will want at least 2 coats of top coat to smooth those glitters out, and do not scrub this polish off. Here are parts 1 and part 2 of the Beachy Brights collection in normal lighting, and then here under Blacklight. I didn't really expect most of these to glow under Blacklight, but the ones that I figured were gonna glow are in fact glowing. As far as my own personal thoughts on the entire collection, I think overall this was a really nice summer collection. I think this was the most summery summer collection that we got out of the mainstream brands this year. I especially like that this releases in full-size bottles, because I think my biggest complaint last year was how much I hated the mini bottles. I'm really happy that the glitters in this release are not super thick like the ones from the spring collection were. I still don't know what was going on with that release, but like I know Zoya can do a damn good glitter, so it's especially nice to see Zoya bring back a good formulation on their glitter polishes. I'm sure I don't have to say it, but Vita is going to be my top pick from this collection. It's hot pink, it's pink, it's a glitter, it's holographic glitter, duh, yeah, I'm gonna like it. As far as pricing goes, Zoya polishes are priced at $12 for a 15 ml bottle. Their mini bottles, which are approximately half the size, are $8. Zoya does a lot of sales very frequently, So if you want to pick these up, I would recommend waiting for a sale. At the time of recording, Zoya is currently having a 25% off sale on purchases that are sold with their July color of the month. I'd love to know what everyone thought of this release. Have you picked it up? Are you planning to pick it up? Waiting for a sale? Y'all know the drill. Let me know. I want to give a very special shout out to my channel members, Shenanigang. Names, of course, all on the screen right now. We have a members exclusive live stream happening this Friday. There is a link in the description box if you would like to sign up for my channel memberships. Thank you all so very much for joining me for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like this video, comment, and subscribe if you have not yet already, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!
When I get high, I ain't looking at the clock, still ballin' like Brian. Yeah, I'm headed to the Bucks, then I'm ballin' like yeah.